Yes, indeed. The Padres by day, the Rolling Stones by night. They play in Chicago later on this evening. There's a rumor going around that there might be a Mick Jagger sighting at the ballpark a little bit later on in the day.
I think I'm going to be the only Stone in the booth today. I don't want to disappoint you, however.
Well, let's take a look at the San Diego Padres. That would be, well, it's not disappointing, Steve. You know what I mean. Here are the Padres. They're red hot. Kilby Veras, Steve Finley in center, Tony Gwynn in right, Ken Caminiti, Wally Joyner, Greg Vaughn. The middle of the order, Carlos Hernandez behind the plate, Chris Gomez, the shortstop, Andy Ashby, the Padre pitcher, will bat ninth.
And the Pepsi defense for Jim Riggleman and the Chicago Cubs. Rodriguez, Brown, and Sosa left to right. In the infield, Ori, Blauser, Morandini, and Grace, and a battery of Scott Service. And the veteran Mark Clark as he goes to the mound. The ERA up somewhat after his last start, a 2-1 record. No complete games so far, but you look at the walk to strikeout ratio, and it's pretty good. A 3-1 record, a 3.12 ERA lifetime against San Diego, and it all starts out at the top. If you can contain Veras, then you don't have to worry about Finley, Gwynn, and Caminiti quite as much.
And Veras has been held in check so far in this series. He is looking for his first hit. And you see the lifetime averages by the Padres against Mark Clark over their careers. Some pretty good numbers there for the San Diego team. But I'll tell you what, San Diego and the Cubs have split these first two games. Yesterday, the Cubs lost one in 14 innings. 3-2 was the final score, a game that either team could have won. San Diego ended up winning it. Cubs won game one 5-3 after Kevin Brown got thrown out. So the Chicago team playing the best team in baseball right now. One up, one down, and a chance to win the series, something that San Diego has not had happen to them all season long, at least to this point. Gorgeous day for baseball as Kerwin Danley will call the balls and strikes. Jim Quick, Joe West, Jeff Kellogg, the rest of the men in blue on this gorgeous sun-splashed afternoon at Wrigley Field.
And this has been a pitching-dominated series, and as far as the Cubs are concerned, this really is a test for the hitters because it's the three best starters they've seen consecutively. When you talk about Brown, Hamilton, and Ashby, that's just about as good as it gets anywhere west of Atlanta.
And we're underway as Veras takes low. 1:20 our first pitch Central Time today. A gorgeous, gorgeous day. Maybe the first warm day we have had here in the ballpark all season long. Veras hitting .261 on the year. No homers, 6 runs batted in. The Cubs will head to Los Angeles after today's game. And Mark Clark falls behind 3-0, something you don't want to do with this very speedy leadoff man.
Well, unfortunately, when you walk him leading off, that usually turns into a run for the Padres.
And the automatic is right through there. I was not here, Steve, when Mark Clark made his last start. Wayne Larrivee was in the booth for me. But Mark did not have a Mark Clark-like performance as he gets strike 2 over.
Well, by his own admission, he really had no feel for the slider. And if he doesn't get the slider over the plate, then he's got to depend too much on that forkball.
Veras sends a shot to center. Brown comes on. He's there. He's got it. And nice comeback from Mark Clark, falling behind 3-0 to retire Veras. So one out, base is empty now for Steve Finley. Boy, a big-time run producer for the Padres last year. He's off to a very, very slow start, hitting below 200 with only 2 home runs and 10 runs batted in.
Looks to me like Finley is trying to pull everything, and when he gets in that kind of pattern, you can sink the ball away and you get a real easy ground ball to the right side. So let's see if Clark tries to do that.
They've got him played to pull, and that's exactly where he does hit it. Good call, Steve. Morandini throws him out, 2 down.
Mickey Morandini has been flawless in the field. This has been a very solid infield this year with veterans up the middle, a Gold Glove at first base in Mark Grace, and a youngster just coming of age as a defender at third in Kevin Ori, who's really struggling with the bat. It hasn't affected him in the field, and you have to realize there's 2 halves to this game, and you can't let one affect the other.
Here's Tony Gwynn. The Padres were saying how badly he was slumping by the time the Padres came to Chicago. He had been in a 4-for-21 slump, but wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden Gwynn wraps out 5 hits and 9 tries in the first 2 games of the series. But he won't reach safely this time. If Blauser can handle cleanly, he didn't. But he threw out Gwynn by a step, and Clark records a very easy 1-2-3 top of the first. We go to the bottom half, scoreless at Wrigley Field. No score after a half inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Mark Clark. And here's a look at the Cubs starting lineup, brought to you by Pepsi. Brant Brown will make his 10th start in center field for the Cubs today. Mickey Morandini, Sammy Sosa, the top three. Morandini, celebrating his birthday yesterday, has a 6-game hit streak. Then it's Mark Grace, Henry Rodriguez, Jeff Blauser, Kevin Ory, Scott Servais, and the pitcher Mark Clark will bat ninth.
And the defense for Bruce Bochy and the San Diego Padres. Vaughn, Finley, and Gwynn left to right. In the infield, Caminiti. I think Gomez is at shortstop. Veras and Joyner, along with Myers behind the plate, and Andy Ashby on the mound. Andy Ashby, 2.93 ERA. Career-wise against the Cubs, you see a winning pitcher at 3-2. However, a very high 4.56 ERA. One of the reasons, he's a sinker baller, and even though he throws hard, Sammy Sosa has really hurt him. Sammy loves the ball down, and that matchup today looks to be a good one for the Cubs.
So Brant Brown set to lead it off. The more you see this kid, the more impressed you have to be. He's off to a terrific start. He's played a very good center field for the Cubs. Has hit .375, 2 home runs. He's knocked in 12. And Lance Johnson, getting the start yesterday, played the bulk of the ball game in a 14-inning ball game, followed by another day game today. They want to make sure he's okay before we head west for 5. Andy Ashby falls behind quickly, 2-0, and then pumps a strike right over.
Ashby had a disappointing year last year, just 9-11, a 4.13 ERA, but he picked up 200 innings, and that's some durability.
The 2-1 to Brant. High fly ball toward left. Vaughn broke in, now breaks back, still going. He's at the track. He's at the wall. Ball really carrying to left. And Brown flies out there for out number 1.
Well, we told you today would be the liveliest day we've had in this ballpark this year. And even with the wind blowing in, Greg Vaughn drifts back. You see him with the right hand. He's feeling for the wall, and he's got just enough room to make the catch.
This might be the first time all year the wind has blown out toward left.
Well, the wind's not going to affect the ball all that much because of the heat in the ballpark. You know, we've had such cold weather, the ball hasn't traveled all that well. It will today, and it'll travel to all fields.
Mickey Morandini, as we showed you, with that 6-game hit streak. And that went all the way to the backstop. 2 balls, no strikes. Cubs gunning for win number 13 against 8 losses today. They've split the first 2 with the Padres. 3 balls, no strikes, with Sammy Sosa and Andy Ashby killer waiting next. A well-played ball game, well-managed game yesterday by both Jim Riggleman and Bruce Bochy. Somebody had to win it. The Padres finally cashed in the 14th.
And we went the entire 14 innings with nary an error. It was a well-played game and a well-managed game on both sides.
Bouncing ball towards second. That'll be easy for Kilvio Veras. And there's out number 2.
A lot of people think that with the addition of Kevin Brown, it's going to make Joey Hamilton and Andy Ashby that much better. Brown, a bona fide number 1 starter, and so it takes a little of the pressure off Ashby and Hamilton. And if you remember, when the Cubs lost Greg Maddux, Mike Morgan then was appointed number 1. In his own mind, he wasn't a number 1 starter, and he really suffered after winning 16 games the year before. And if you have a number 1 like Brown, the guys following him just try to keep up, and I think they'll all be a lot better with the presence of Brown.
Sammy takes a strike. Boy, he has really hit Ashby well. 2 of those 8 hits have left the ballpark. One of those would be nice here in the first.
Well, if Andy keeps it down out over the plate, Sammy can take it out to dead center.
A breaking ball missed away.
And that's what's happened. When you know you have trouble with a guy, you start trying to nip the corners early, and you get behind, and then you get hurt.
Bouncing ball up the middle, a base hit for Sammy. 2-out hit for him. And now the cleanup man, Mark Grace, will be the hitter.
And the Cubs know that Ashby is not the fastest man to home plate, but you've got a catcher in Carlos Hernandez who can throw. And this sinker running inside is taken right back up the middle. So Sammy did a nice job of bringing his hands in, guiding the ball up the middle, and winding up at first base.
So Mark Grace, the hitter, you'll notice the tape job on the left hand. First, the Ashby offering here in the bottom of the first inning. And it's a quick strike, and obviously sore for Grace. I've heard a couple things, that it's sore from him swinging the bat, but also in that collision with Kevin Brown, or that near collision against Kevin Brown in the first game of the series, that he injured himself a little bit trying to protect himself and protect Brown, who was standing on top of the bag. Runner goes, pitch outside. The throw to second is a pellet, and in time to retire Sosa and the Cubs here in the first. No runs, a hit, nobody left after one. Still scoreless in Chicago. On today's Discover Card Payback Playback, the Cubs were on the winning end of a 14-inning game in San Francisco last May. Brian McRae drove in Doug Glanville, and the Cubs beat the Giants 5-3. Today's Discover Card Payback Playback. Ken Caminiti, Wally Joyner, Greg Vaughn here in the Padres' second scoreless game on a beautiful, beautiful afternoon at Wrigley Field. Caminiti 2 for 11 in the series with a couple of runs batted in. Tell you how tough Ken Caminiti is. They just came from Pittsburgh, did the Padres, and Caminiti had had some problems with an ingrown toenail. First, the 1-0 from Clark. And Caminiti went to the trainer, and he said the trainer was digging around in there trying to get the ingrown toenail out. Finally, Caminiti got so frustrated, he said, "Here," grabbed a pair of pliers and pulled the toenail out himself. No anesthetic. He just ripped it right out, he said. That's tough.
Well, he has the reputation of being a hard-nosed player. And apparently he doesn't have much feeling in his feet either, because that's got to hurt.
He said them digging was worse than him pulling. But he's in the lineup obviously today. He is a gamer, and he sends a drive deep toward right. Don't think the yard's going to hold this one. Sammy at the track. It will not. Home run, Caminiti.
Well, you fall behind Ken Caminiti and you're playing with fire, and he hits his 7th home run, drives in his 19th. And even with the wind blowing in, we told you how lively the park would be today, and Caminiti puts the Padres on top 1-0, and that's been a familiar score. They've been on top 1-0 now for the 3rd straight game.
And for them, a familiar refrain in their 15-4 start. They had hit home runs in 13 straight games before being denied in the first 2 games of this series. And now Caminiti's 7th puts the Padres in front by a run. And you have to be careful with this man, Wally Joyner, as well.
35-year-old Ken Caminiti keeps getting better and better.
Joyner rips a shot into right field. That's a base hit. So Clark being greeted rather rudely here in the 2nd inning.
We'll take a look at
this shot.
Take a look at a 2-1 pitch from the scoreboard camera, and you can see that one looked to be middle in, about belt high. And Caminiti gives it a ride, just barely enough, however, with the wind blowing in, but far enough to land in the first row.
So Greg Vaughn now a chance to do a little further damage for the Padres. Cubs have done a good job against this guy. He's 1 for 9 in the series. And he flirts with extra bases and fouls it away. Oh, what a grab by the fan down the left field line. That was, however, not a good-looking play.
No, but his daughter, the beneficiary of that souvenir. You can tell what kind of a day it is today.
The 0-1 is inside. Things have gotten hairy for the Cubs here in the 2nd. Greg Vaughn starting to rediscover himself after a year and a half of mighty struggling in San Diego. Joyner the lead, and Clark misses inside. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, Vaughn is a dead pull hitter, and now that you're behind ahead 2-1, If you can take something off and keep it away from him, he will hit a ground ball to the left side, assuming you keep it down, and that usually turns into a pair.
Breaking ball hit a mile high. Mickey Morandini should make the play, and there's out number one.
How'd you like that throw by Carlos Hernandez to gun down Sammy Sosa to end that first inning?
Very good arm. He and Sandy Martinez, I'd like to see them duel behind the plate throwing base runners out. Very similar throwers.
Well, this guy spent a long time behind Mike Piazza, and before that Mike Scioscia in Los Angeles, before finally getting an opportunity, making the most of it last year, hitting over 300. And this year they let Flaherty go and they turned it over to Hernandez and Myers, and they've done a good job in a platoon system behind the plate.
Hernandez at .319 this year, 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Spent 12 years, as Steve was alluding, in the Dodger organization before finally getting a chance with San Diego. Swung late, popped that up into shallow right. Sammy still coming on, and there's out number 2. One in, one on, 2 outs, and the shortstop Chris Gomez will bat. Dodgers have taken a 1-0 lead over the Brewers in the second. Boy, Milwaukee, another bad injury, it appears. John Jaha injured his ankle. How severely, we still have not heard yet, but they had to carry him off on a stretcher yesterday in Milwaukee.
And yesterday they were hurt by Mike Piazza. A couple of home runs and a late 3-run job that made the difference. So Piazza, who I believe has hit the last 7 Dodger home runs.
Sounds right.
A one-man gang offensively.
And we'll see them tomorrow night. Hopefully he'll leave his bats behind. The 1-0 is high to Gomez. It's 2-0. Pitching matchups in Los Angeles. Kerry Wood, Ishmael Valdez tomorrow night. Jeremy Gonzalez, Darren Dreifert Saturday. Steve Traxel, Ramon Martinez on Sunday. And that young man is thrilled about his first Dodger Stadium start tomorrow. 2-1.
There's those matchups, and we see Darren Dreifert, after a great relief outing against the Cubs, moved into the starting rotation. He was brilliant for 5 2/3 innings.
The 2-1. Low and away. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, now if you've got confidence at all in the ability of Gomez to make contact, you'll run with Joyner. He doesn't have real good speed, and you risk getting him thrown out. So let's see what's on the mind of Bruce Bochy.
Inside the bag, fair down the left field line. Joyner should be able to run forever. Here comes Henry over quickly. They'll wave Joyner around third. Here comes the relay. It will not be in time. It's a double down the left field line from Gomez. Joyner chugs around third and scores. A big 2-out Padre hit makes it 2-0 here in the second.
Well, twice Mark Clark has fallen behind, and it's resulted in the 2 runs. The 3-1 pitch. Gomez pulls it down the line. No chance for Kevin Ory. And if Mark Clark is going to be effective at all, he's going to have to stay ahead of these hitters. That one ripped down the line. They didn't play Gomez as a dead pull hitter, so a long way to run for Henry. By the time he does get to it, Wally Joyner chugs around and scores the second run. RBI number 5 for Chris Gomez.
And now the pitcher Andy Ashby can help himself. A .222 average on the year. No homers or runs batted in. 2-0. San Diego the lead. They've scored twice on 3 hits here in the second. And Ashby sends a looping fly ball shallow left field. That's trouble. It's in the Bermuda Triangle, but Henry comes in, makes the basket catch, and retires the side. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 left. Padres 2, Cubs nothing. The heart of the Cubs order is due up here in the bottom of the second inning. Grace Rodriguez and Jeff Blauser against right-hander Andy Ashby. There's our center field scoreboard camera shot. A beautiful panoramic look at Wrigley Field. The ivy starting to blossom and bloom on the brick fences in the outfield. By the time we get back from the West Coast, that English ivy should be almost in full bloom here, and the thermometer very cooperative today.
It's going to be a nice weekend, and I look up at the scoreboard. I see the Pittsburgh Pirates ahead 4-0 over San Francisco. Barry Bonds making a lot of contact. Most of it is with Danny Darwin, however.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Those two had a battle after the ball game.
Yeah, Darwin, I guess, upset that Bonds kind of nonchalanted a fly ball to left. They had words before when Darwin was a member of the Astros. But you're right. San Francisco hasn't hit much but each other. The last 6 games, they've scored 13 runs. So frustrations are boiling over, I would think, in Dusty Baker's giant clubhouse. Mark Grace was the hitter when Sammy Sosa was thrown out trying to steal to end the first. So he now leads off the second for the Cubs in a 2-0 Padre game. Grace is 0 for 6 in this series. He was in a 1 for 18 slump before hitting safely 3 times in 4 tries against the Dodgers. So he'd like to have a good day today before we head west.
Mark has always had pretty good luck against Ashby, hitting an even 300. And he's hit for the cycle against him. A couple of doubles, a triple, and a home run.
That man obviously dressing with the Arnie Harris collection at the ballpark. Grace bouncing ball to second. Funny hop for Veras, but Grace is retired, and there's out number 1.
Our old friend Josh Lewin in attendance at the ballpark today. Had a chance to take him to breakfast. We waited. Of course, I had to buy it. Then he came here into the old Pink Poodle, it used to be called, where concession, and got me for another $1. So it's nice to know Josh hasn't changed much.
You are cold. He's not even here to defend himself, for crying out loud.
Get him up here. He went in the truck to say hello to Arnie.
It's good to see Josh. He's a good man.
Along with his wife Dana, they still make their home here in Chicago. And of course, we wish Josh and Mandy Cohn all the best of luck with the Tigers this year. That'll be a rough year for those boys from up north.
Henry takes a strike. There's Joey Hamilton, yesterday's Padres starter. A leadoff walk in the 8th cost him a chance perhaps of picking up a win. Henry waves and misses 1 and 2.
Now that Ashby's come up with a split finger, he's all that much tougher because he throws a fastball 92-93 miles an hour, and if that splitter keeps going down consistently, he's going to be awfully tough. Here's a slider. Let's see if he gets it in.
He did, but a good at bat by Henry to foul it back. Folks, how about the Tampa Bay Devil Rays? Do you realize that the Tampa Bay Devil Rays have the 2nd best batting average, 2nd best earned run average, and the 3rd best fielding team in the American League?
Not your typical expansion club.
And Tampa Bay playing today just got a big hit from Bobby Smith, an RBI double, and the Devil Rays lead in Texas 2-0. Boy, Chuck Lamar, Vince Namoli, Larry Rothschild, they have done just a fantastic job with that first-year Tampa Bay ball club.
Well, in this day and age of free agency and 2 years to prepare before you go into a championship season, the expansion clubs aren't really expansion clubs anymore. I know they're first-year clubs, but they're a whole lot farther down the road than most of the expansion teams.
Henry strikes out, and there's out number 2.
Now, Ashby's been around a long time. He started his pro career in 1986. We'll take a look at a good off-speed breaking ball. And there's the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera showing you Henry swinging over that good slider. But Ashby originally got to the major leagues with Philadelphia in '91, Colorado in '93, and then San Diego that same year.
Jeff Blauser, the Cub batter. He's 2 for 10 in the series. Had a tough day yesterday. 0 for 6. But there weren't many hits to go around for anyone. Jeff's made most of the plays at shortstop as well in lifetime. 6 for 19 with a home run against Ashby. That foul tipped off the catcher. It's 1 and 2.
What's always helped Ashby, and granted he is under 500 lifetime in the major leagues, but the fact he throws hard and always has very good control. For instance, last year 144 strikeouts, only 49 walks. In his good year in 95, 150 strikeouts and 62 walks, and he gets off to fast starts.
Two balls, two strikes to Blauser. Ashby, very tall but very thin, 6'5", 190 pounds. The 2-2 is out of play. So we'll do it again. The Cubs will have a roster decision to make in a couple of days. Bob Patterson is eligible to come off the disabled list.
It's going to be a tough decision because you got guys up and down your roster that are doing a pretty good job. So I think they have to think long and hard of what move they're going to make.
The 2-2 got him with a high fastball, and the Cubs go down 1-2-3 in the second. We go to the third with the Padres leading by 2. We go to the third inning, top of the Padre order here. San Diego in front, 2-0. And the first pitch from Mark Clark misses low. Veras fly to center his first time. And that one's over for a strike. Mark Clark's been falling behind a lot, Steve, and that's cost him the first 2 runs.
Well, that's usually not his style. When he's pitching well, he's ahead, he's changing speeds, and he's keeping it down, and that has not been the case today.
But he is ahead now, a ball and 2 strikes.
Mark also is a veteran. Came to the big leagues for the first time in '91 with St. Louis. Then on to Cleveland in '93. Spent '94 there. '96 with the Mets, where he was 14-11.
That's trouble into right. Sosa on the run at the track. It's off the wall. It bounces toward Brown. Veras streaking toward second. Will reach with a stand-up double, and that ball was really tattooed.
Veras has a little pop in his bat, and that time driving it against the fledgling Ivy. And no chance at all for Sammy as that one bounds away. So Mark Clark in some trouble as Veras just goes down and gets it. Sammy gets trapped too close to the wall. He thought he might have had a shot when it left the bat. But a good job of backing up by Brant Brown. And now Finley, who pulls the ball most of the time, will have to pull it here to move along Veras.
That's what Finley did his first time. He grounded out weakly to second. 0-1. Padres already leading 2-0. And the way Ashby's throwing, you don't want to give this Padre team too much of a head start. A strike on the inside corner. A strikeout here would be nice. It's 0-2.
Take a look at the timing device that Finley uses. While Clark looks in for a sign, Finley suspends that bat and doesn't get it ready until Mark Clark goes into his stretch. He keeps the bat out there. He waits for Mark Clark to go into his stretch, and now he's ready to go.
He just did stay alive.
That was a good piece of hitting because that was an excellent 0-2 pitch just off the plate inside. If Mark Clark has some confidence in his forkball, and we haven't seen many good ones yet today, he'll throw it 0-2. And from the Southwest camera, we'll take a look at that timing device. He holds the bat out. Now the stretch, and he's ready to go.
1-2 now. Not a whole lot a pitcher can do to disrupt that timing. With a base runner on, it's a balk.
Well, you just keep waiting until he goes into a stretch, and that's what makes Finley comfortable, and he doesn't vary from that pattern.
Down and in. It's 2-2.
Well, now you're at the point where you want to sink one away from him, and again, if you have to give up the ground ball to the right side, at least you trade it for the out.
A high pop. Should be playable for service. He's there. He's got it. Big out there.
Good pitch on the inside corner. He jammed Finley, who just popped it straight up. But you're far from out of the woods with Gwynn and Caminiti coming up. Good location by Mark Clark, who's still having trouble with his slider, but that fastball is painted on the inside, and Finley can't do anything with it.
Tony, a ground out his first time.
See the Padre flag atop the pole in the west. Cubs in third. Everybody obliged them by losing yesterday.
Way outside. How about that Mets game in New York?
I was watching it last night and couldn't believe it. But Jim Tatum comes up, hits the first home run in 5 years. Houston kept battling back, and the Mets kept scoring.
Downstairs to Gwynn. 2 balls, no strikes. This guy the best hitter you ever seen?
Well, certainly everything combined he is. Obviously Carew was a wonderful hitter and Boggs is a wonderful hitter. Year after year, Tony Gwynn is just unbelievable.
The 2-0 is a strike.
Now against right-hand pitchers, Tony Gwynn is at the top with Wade Boggs. Mike Piazza, the only straight right-hand hitter on that list, and that's pretty impressive. A straight right-hander hitting .329 against right-hand pitching.
Gwynn rifles that to left center. Brown broke in, now breaks back at the track, hauls it in. Good play. Veras tags from second, hustles over to third, and he'll stop there. Gwynn hit that ball right on the screws, but Brown had him played perfectly.
And you see the importance of the Finley at bat, because if Finley gets the job done and moves along Veras, that's a sacrifice fly and a run. As it turned out, Brant Brown, who's done just about everything right in center field, runs this one down. Brown has very good speed, and he's able to make the catch right by the ivy.
But be careful here. Here's Caminiti, who homered his first time. They play him to the opposite field in the outfield. Big gap in right center, and that's the direction he hit his home run.
You can see Mark Clark gets off to a rocky start, gets a little better in the middle, and at the end hasn't given up anything.
We should be out of trouble here in the third. And Caminiti grounds out. So the leadoff double pitched around by Clark. We go to the bottom half, 2-0 Padres. Kevin Ory, Scott Service, Mark Clark to bat for the Cubs in the bottom of the third. Before they do so, let's pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
With Steve Stone, Chip Carey from the ballpark in Chicago, Padres enjoy a 2-0 lead, and maybe this is the day that Kevin Ory will snap out of his prolonged hitting slump. As you said, it hasn't affected him defensively, but his average now down, Steve, to .216 after a red-hot start.
Well, when he's hitting well, he's taking the ball to right and right center, and then he starts to pull the ball. So that's what Jeff Pentland is working on.
Ashby's first pitch misses inside, 1-0.
Beautiful day at the ballpark. We've got some clouds, but bright sunshine dominating here at Wrigley Field.
Ripped hard, and there's a base hit. Just what the doctor ordered for Kevin Ory. He was 0 for 12 until he solidly singled into left field.
After taking the first pitch, Kevin Ory gets this one just over the outstretched glove of Chris Gomez. And obviously, it's an inviting double play target with Scott Service. And that's why many times Jim Riggleman will use the hit and run with this same combination. And Scott very adept at taking the ball to the right side. So let's see if we see some movement.
Ory, a short lead from first. No movement, but a breaking ball for a strike. 0-1 to Scott. It'd be nice to get Ori and Service going at the bottom of the order. For the top and the middle have been very productive so far for the Cubs this year. But both Kevin and Scott have played great defensive baseball for the Cubs. Chopper toward the whole left side. Can they turn it? Out at second. The relay to first in time. Double play. They can.
That's the risk you run if you don't have any movement. If Scott hits that ball in the infield, this is a pretty dependable double play combination. Not the flashiest around, but Veras quick at second base. A good play by Gomez from the high scoreboard camera. Take a look at the play in the hole. The good quick throw by Veras. And they cut down Service for the double play.
2 outs, bases empty now. Mark Clark the hitter. And Ashby pumps a quick strike over.
You'd have to think that the Padre infielders have to get a lot of rest this year, because they're going to see a lot of action with 3 sinker ballers, 1, 2, 3 in the rotation.
A ball and a strike. Padres in front 2-0. Ken Caminiti has homered today. And it's 1-2. I want to pass along a very happy 80th birthday greeting to Miss Marion Brandt of Toluca, Illinois, a longtime devoted Cubs fan. And to Med and Pat Schnurring, their 50th wedding anniversary. And Clark strikes out, and that retires the Cubs in the third. On we go to the fourth. It's still San Diego 2 and the Cubs nothing. On to the fourth inning we go. Wally Joyner set to lead it off for the Padres. They lead it 2-0. Joyner has scored one of the 2 Padre runs. He's 3 for 10 in the series for San Diego. And he swings at the first pitch and skies it into left. That ought to be easy. And it is. 1 down. Well, friends, Saturday, May 9th is Duncan Imperial Yo-Yo Day. Compliments of Scala's Preferred. The first 10,000 kids 13 and under attending the Cubs-Giants game May 9th will receive a limited edition Duncan Imperial Yo-Yo. For tickets, stop by the Wrigley Field box office or call 312-831-CUBS. Don't forget, after the road trip to the West Coast, the Cardinals are in for 4. And that ball's hammered into left and just foul off the bat of Greg Vaughn.
That would have probably been just a single, because Henry was playing over toward the corner, playing Vaughn as a dead pull hitter.
Vaughn popped to second his first time up. Lifetime a 174 hitter against Mark Clark. We've spotted the Padres too. And the count now 1-1. San Diego will be racing us back to the West Coast after the game. They entertain the Pirates and then the Cubs for 2 before heading back out on the road. They play a great stretch of games away from home to start the season, but really bulk up at home in the second half of the season. That should be a big advantage for them.
And conversely, the Cubs now in a streak where they're playing 16 of 21 at home, so they have to make the most of it, and so far they have. They're 8-3 here in Chicago.
2-2 now to Greg Vaughn.
When the Cubs do come back, not only those 4 with St. Louis, but after an off day on the 4th, Houston comes to town for 2 and San Francisco for 4. So a nice long homestand, and there are plenty of seats available, so the weather should be nice. And you get a chance to see this much improved Chicago Cubs team.
3 balls 2 strikes now to the Padre left fielder Greg Vaughn. San Diego with 2 runs in the second. That's the difference in today's game. A squibber up the middle. Blauser can't get it. He was playing into pull. And Vaughn's aboard with a 1-out single. Now this Sunday, May 3rd, the Daisy the Cow Beanie Baby Day is a complete sellout. How about that?
Limited standing room available.
Correct. And that is the start of that Big Ten game homestand with Mark McGwire and the Cardinals on Thursday. Then the Astros and the Giants. There are tickets available for every other game with the exception of Sunday, May 3rd on the Daisy the Cow Beanie Baby Day here at the ballpark. Our thanks to John McDonough for that advisory. And that should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing the Daisy the Cow Beanie Baby.
Arnie Harris is already building a farm to accommodate all of the cows that John McDonough will give him.
E-I-E-I-O, right? 1 ball, no strikes to Carlos Hernandez, who's made a fine defensive play, throwing out Sammy Sosa trying to steal a base today. And he's also flying out to right. Hideo Nomo apparently not having trouble with his control today.
No, he's found the secret of that forkball. Figured out how to throw it 60 feet. Because he had all kinds of problems here. And that was the shortest outing of his major league career. 45 pitches, and he did not survive the first inning.
With 5 walks, and the Cubs beat him. That was a big game, too, as Vaughn tries to steal, and a line drive to Morandini. The Padres doubled up, and that retires the side. We'll talk more about that big Nomo outing for the Cubs. After 3.5, the Padres still lead it by 2. Well, there's today's official timekeeper, Joe West, the second base umpire, has a clock in his hands, making sure that the game progresses along expediently. Here he says, let's go, guys. Let's move this thing along. Baseball trying to get the pace of the games going. Didn't do much for the old average yesterday. We went almost 4 hours in 14 innings.
Actually, that's not a bad time for 14 innings. As the game did move along, as you didn't see much offense yesterday. Cubs hope to see a little more offense the second time through the order against Andy Ashby, who's been awfully tough. In fact, he's faced the minimum, courtesy of a caught stealing and a double play through 3.
Brant Brown flying to left his first time, hit the ball very hard and sent Vaughn to the wall. And Brown takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Giants losing at Pittsburgh 5-0. Francisco Cordova has a 4-hitter as the Giants bat in the 6th. Dodgers, as we showed you, lead Milwaukee 1-0. Hideo Nomo, a 1-hitter. All the rest of the National League Baseball is later on this evening. 1-2 now to Brown. That ball's hammered into center. Finley on the run, but he's slowing now, has room. Brown's hit the ball hard twice and has nothing to show for it.
Well, it should be a good matchup for Brant Brown because he loves the ball down, and that's where Ashby keeps most everything. And he's given it a ride twice. 0 for 2 to show for it as Brant Brown reaches out and takes it to the deepest part of the ballpark, and with 1 step before the track, Finley makes the play.
Now Mickey Morandini, the batter, again a 6-game hitting streak on the line today. And he scatters the Padre bullpen.
Well, they went down like bowling pins in the bullpen, and nobody is hurt. Well, that'll wake you up if you're enjoying a sunshiny day and you get one of these your way and you see them all go down.
That'll show him for winning that game last night. Mickey got his revenge. The 1-1 back up the middle. Will it get through? It's an infield hit.
Well, the only way that play could have been made was by Gomez, who was going toward the play. As soon as Veras got to the ball first, no way you're going to get Morandini, so it does go as a base hit. Ashby slows it down, and Veras tries to barehand it. No luck.
So it's a 7-game hitting streak for Mickey Morandini. And now Sosa, the man that's really hammered Ashby over his career, is the hitter. So Morandini really putting the bat on the ball. His longest hit streak, in case you wondered, is 12 games. As Sosa takes 1 ball, no strikes.
All Sammy has to do is get it up in the breeze toward left field. And we'll have ourselves a tie game.
Morandini, a good lead from first. Oh, he tried to tie the game.
Ashby made an excellent pitch. That was on the outside corner at the knees, and he threw it in a perfect spot. First time up, he tried to jam Sosa inside, and Sammy was able to muscle it into center field. They're playing him very much to pull in the infield. There's a lot of room up the middle.
A ball and a strike. They play him straight away and deep. Chopper, Caminiti to a knee. Can they turn it? What a double play. Around the horn, 5-4-3 and out. No runs, a hit, nobody left. Boy, these Padres are playing good ball. They've got a 2-0 lead.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody.
We're moving right along here at Wrigley Field. 4 innings in the books. It's 2-0 Padres. Gomez, Ashby, and Veras will take another turn against Mark Clark. And Gomez, who doubled home the second San Diego run, falls behind quickly, 0-1. A ball and a strike. They've got a nice little platoon at shortstop between Gomez and Andy Sheets. The Padres feel that kid Sheets could start for a lot of big league clubs. That's going to be fair inside the bag. Boy, he's reached out and just flipped that ball down the third base line, and Gomez has his second double of the game.
Well, Gomez wasn't hitting very well coming into this one, but he's worn out that little spot between Ori and the bag. And once again, you don't expect him to be a dead pull hitter, but pull it he does, and Kevin Ori can't get to it. So now it sets up the bunt by Ashby, and if he does bunt it, he wants to make sure that Kevin Ori fields it. Now Ashby's a pretty good hitter, so although you're looking for the bunt, you have to be prepared for him to pull the bat back and take a swing, a la Orel Hershiser when he was in his glory days with the Dodgers.
In at the corners are the Cubs. Morandini stands at the second base bag. Ashby 0 for 1, shows the bunt. Now takes a rip and flies it to left, and Henry's there. Oh man, if you're Kevin Ori, you got to be thinking, please hit it in the air.
Well, you know it's a possibility, and that's exactly what Ashby did. But on that play, with everybody in the infield moving, they teach you to hit the ball on the ground, to take a half swing, not a full swing. And although he hit it hard, the mistake is hitting the ball in the air with everybody in the infield moving.
So Gomez stuck at second. Ashby flies to left, and now here's Veras. He's doubled as well.
Well, Ashby hit the ball right on the nose, but he did not advance the runner.
So Veras, a chance with a single to score the third Padre run. But if Ashby had advanced it, they would have needed just a fly ball. 1 on, 1 out. Padres already in front by 2. We open up a series with the Dodgers tomorrow, and they're getting good news from their Eric Karros rehab situation. Karros coming back from that March 24th cartilage surgery on his left knee. They're saying he could be ready to go by the end of this coming weekend.
Well, they really need another run producer in that batting order, and Karros is just that. When he's healthy, he is a force in the middle of that. Then they can take their talented rookie Paul Konerko and put him into left field where they think he'd be more effective, and the Brewers have just tied it up. Marquise Grissom, back in the National League, has come through with a base hit.
It's amazing how badly the Dodgers find out they need Karros now. They left him unprotected in the expansion draft, and Tim Flannery got picked off by that drive off the bat of Veras, but I think Tim's all right.
Well, used to be a flashy fielding second baseman, but the feet aren't quite as quick as they used to be, and he gets plunked by that one. which lets us know why Joey Amalfitano plays so deeply as a third base coach.
But the fretwork pretty good for Mr. Flannery. He's an aspiring musician. He's played a couple of country music gigs in the San Diego area. Has opened up for some big time country music names like Merle Haggard. That ball fouled off down the left field line, and it's 2-2.
Well, one of the reasons why the Dodgers need Eric Karros, he drove in 104 last year with 31 home runs, and that's a lot of production missing from your lineup.
Yeah, we got to get Joe West and Flannery together. Have them play a duet sometime. The 2-2. Swung on, fly ball, right center field gap. Sammy on the run, still sprinting. Brown comes over, makes the grab in front of him. Tagging and moving to third is Gomez. Sammy was ready to dive, and Brown snagged it at the last moment.
Well, they were playing Veras around toward left center, and for the second time, Veras pulled the ball. And a fine play by Brant Brown, finally snagging it before the ball fell. Watch it again. Long run for Brant. Sammy over. He dives in back of him, and fortunately no collision. And also fortunately, Brant Brown had the presence of mind to get up, knowing that Gomez was tagging up at second.
So runner at third now, 2 outs for Finley. Those two guys have already had one collision in the outfield together, Brown and Sosa, and that one could have been nasty. But a great play by Brant, who covers a lot of ground in center pasture. Finley ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. And you'd love to get him because Tony Gwynn's waiting next.
Well, if he can get out of the inning, it'll be the second time for Mark Clark to pitch around a leadoff double.
Swung on, high fly ball, right center field, but Brown's got to play. He's there, he's under, he's got it. And the side retired. The Padres waste another leadoff double. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-0 San Diego. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. New first baseman for the Padres, Arky Cianfrocco, takes over for Wally Joyner.
And when we find out exactly why Wally left, we will let you know. The Padres, a veteran team, and they've got some age at many of their positions, so this is really the year that they have to put it all together and try to win it all.
Not only because of the age of their ball club, but what a winning season would mean for their hopes of a new baseball stadium out in San Diego. They're going to take a vote on that in October. But if the early ticket indications are any indication, they've already sold 50,000 tickets for their series against the Pirates. 50,000 tickets almost per game against the Pirates this coming weekend.
Well, you'd like to see Grace on ahead of Henry because he could tie it up with one swing of the bat. And Mark Clark hasn't had great stuff, but he's made some big pitches to get out of some tough innings.
3-0 to Mark. And that's right through there. Well, the Padres haven't helped themselves either. They've had 2 leadoff doubles in the last 3 innings. And both times the runners were stranded at third. So they've wasted some chances to add to their lead. And they test Cianfrocco early, and he's equal to the challenge. 1 out. So Grace 0 for 2, 0 for 8 in the series. 1 out, nobody aboard now for Henry, who struck out swinging his first time.
Both these pitchers have shown pretty good control, so much so that there has not been a walk in the game. You can get away with 6 hits through 5 innings if you don't put anybody on via the base on balls.
That's what Ashby's done today. He's looked very sharp. Henry bouncing ball to short. Good play there by Gomez. 2 down. So quickly, Ashby carving through the heart of the Cubs order here. 2 up, 2 down for Jeff Blauser, who struck out to end the Cubs' second. Jeff, a .275 hitter, a homer, 6 runs batted in. Bruce Bochy trying to win his 6th series of the year for the Padres. Nobody has been able to take 2 out of 3 from him yet. They have split 1 series this year. And the way their bullpen's been throwing, you'd better get some runs before the 7th inning. The 2-0 is back our way, 2-1.
Well, Trevor Hoffman's been awfully tough, and you just have to wonder how the 2 innings yesterday from the closer will affect him today. When he's right, he's one of the best in the business.
If there is a perceived weakness of this Padre team, I guess it would be that they don't have an awful lot of speed. They don't create a lot of runs. But then again, with those thumpers, they don't really have to, do they?
Now, this is a pretty solid ball club. The defense in the infield especially is awfully good. And of course, 1, 2, and 3 in the starting rotation, they're mighty tough.
The 2-2 to Jeff is fouled off his body.
They're getting real good defense behind the plate and surprising offense from both Myers and Hernandez. And they're not going to make the rookie mistakes because it's a veteran team all the way around, top to bottom.
Who do you like better, these guys or the Dodgers, from what you've seen so far?
I like these guys because of the balance. I think their lineup is more balanced than the Dodgers.
2-2 to Jeff is high, 3-2.
Dodgers also a pretty sound team, but they're going to have some struggles against some of the better right-hand pitchers around because of that lineup. It's very right-handed all the way around.
Blauser, a drive toward right, but Tony Gwynn is there. 3 up, 3 down in the 5th. After 5 at Wrigley Field, it's still the Padres 2, the Cubs nothing.
This copyright telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private and non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is strictly prohibited.
Tony Gwynn leads off the Padres 6th. Chip Carey along with Steve Stone back at Wrigley Field. The oldest adage in the book, Steve, good pitching gets out good hitting. That's certainly been the case today for the Padres. Andy Ashby's been very tough.
Well, it's been a pitching dominated series, and today no exception. Mark Clark hasn't been overpowering, but he's held them to 2, and this is a pretty good offense. But Andy Ashby has been awfully tough and making very few mistakes.
Hasn't walked anybody yet for the Padres, and the Cubs running out of innings, running out of outs on this homestand finale before we head west. Sure would be nice to head west with a victory, but still plenty of work to be done yet.
Well, the Cub offense on a lively day at Wrigley Field has to come alive, and hopefully they can do that.
So Tony Gwynn against Mark Clark, and Mark falling behind 3-0 pumps the strike over. 3 balls and a strike. Gwynn lines out to Grace.
Well, you know Tony's going to hit it hard. You just have to hope to be in front of it, and Mark Grace was right there to make the play as Gwynn hits a rocket. Would have been 2, but he didn't get it quite high enough. And Mark Grace there to make the play as Tony Gwynn hits a bullet, and Mark puts it away.
So Gwynn's 0 for 3. Doesn't happen to him often. Here's Caminiti. He hit a long solo home run leading off the 2nd. That started the fun for the Padres. It was his 7th homer and 19th RBI of the year.
Nice shirt you're wearing today. Where'd you park Babe the Blue Ox?
That's just not right. Life is a picnic. I thought I'd wear this shirt. What's wrong with that?
No, it's a good shirt. Looks like Paul Bunyan, though. Very nice.
Well, you know, you said Grandpa dressed like a lumberjack sometimes, so I'm just happy you didn't drop the Dinty more on me. That kind of broke my heart. First or second home game of the year.
No, it's excellent. You're looking fine.
Thanks. They say about men's fashion, never throw anything away. It'll always come back into style. So,
and on getaway day with that lengthy flight to Los Angeles, it'll be quite comfortable.
You and Arnie will be in the silk pajamas and the slippers, I'm sure. I thought I'd at least try to dress up.
Me and Hef?
Line drive into right field from Caminiti. It's a 1-out base hit. That guy can flat out hit. And he's played a good third base the last couple of games of this series. Had some struggles in the night game here. You see logo, company man, big company man. I haven't been here as long as you. I haven't earned the freebies yet.
We'll get you. We'll get you some of those sew-on logos.
Oh,
so you
okay.
can put them on those shirts.
Or the iron-on ones. I know how to iron. I can do that. That'll work. Here's Archie Cianfrocco. A .278 hitter, a homer, and an RBI for the Padres. Wally Joyner left with an injury that a veteran player would suffer from.
A little strained right side. They don't expect anything too serious. You don't want to throw it down middle in to Archie. He's got an uppercut swing, and he loves the ball down and on the inner portion of the plate.
Got it by him. A ball and a strike. This guy can play everywhere for you.
Good utility player and a big man at 6'5", 215. Very versatile player. I think you mentioned yesterday he's played 7 different positions.
Broken bat roller toward Grace. He'll flip to second. That's all the Cubs can get. So Caminiti's retired. Cianfrocco reaches on the force out at second. Two 2-0 Padres, and our next telecast here on WGN comes your way Saturday night at 9 o'clock from Dodger Stadium. The Saturday pitching matchup, Jeremy Gonzalez, who was dazzling last time out, against right-hander Darren Dreifert, who pitched great in relief, as Steve mentioned earlier.
Got to watch the first pitch to Greg Vaughn. He's been pretty much on every first pitch from Clark, so you'd just as soon keep it out of the sweet spot.
He tried to check his swing, and he did as the pitch missed inside. Will this guy ever be the Greg Vaughn that was such a huge power threat for the Brewers?
Well, he's strong enough to do that, and they've tried to work on his swing somewhat, and so far it hasn't paid great dividends. I think he's just got to get his confidence back, and last year a very tough year for him. Hit just .216 with 18 home runs, and he fanned 110 times. Merv Rettenman, the hitting instructor, trying to convince him to somehow use right and right center a little more, but he seems content to try to pull just about everything. You fall victim to a lot of breaking balls away.
Like that, 2-1. Vaughn, if the name sounds familiar, is related to the Red Sox slugger Mo Vaughn. They're first cousins. A lot of home runs in that Vaughn family.
Well, they play him as a dead pull hitter. A lot like San Diego plays Sammy Sosa, with a lot of room up the middle, but everyone deep all the way around.
Runner goes, and Service can't make a throw as the ball popped away and popped out of his right hand. So a stolen base for Cianfrocco.
His first, and the Padres have now stolen just 10 bases this year. This has not been a very aggressive team, but Cianfrocco knows that Clark doesn't hold runners close, and he is slow to home plate, and he takes advantage of that, and Scott Service couldn't get the grip on it.
So 3-1 pitch to Vaughn. Be careful here, and he is. He walks him. So Vaughn's aboard. 2 on, 2 outs, and the catcher Carlos Hernandez.
Hernandez hit the ball just about as hard as you could hit it last time, but on the hit and run he lined into a double play, and Hernandez offensively has been pretty impressive in this series.
Now 3 for 7, and his average up to .319 to start today's ball game. The Padres lead San Francisco by 5.5. They lead the Dodgers already by 6 full games in the West. The Cubs, with a 12-8 record, are a game and a half behind Milwaukee. The Cardinals a half game back. Cianfrocco with a big lead out at second, and Clark misfires again. 2-0.
Well, here's where Mark has had some problems. He's fallen behind a couple of times and gotten burned. What he likes to do when he does fall behind is throw what he terms a batting practice fastball. You have a hitter all geared up for a fastball. It comes in about 5 miles an hour slower, and it has the hitter's hands moving forward and usually gets him.
Just foul again. Boy, they are wearing out that left field line.
Jeff Kellogg able to get out of the way and make the call, and the same movement. And there's a look at Mr. Kellogg down that third base line. Riggs knows that if he's going to stay in this one, you've got to get out of this inning. Andy Ashby has been awfully tough.
He's given the Cubs only 3 hits. He's shut us out through 5 so far. The 2-1 to the Padre catcher is rifled down the right field line and foul. So Mark's battle back from a 2-0 count. It's even now 2-2.
Riggs calling up perhaps to the bullpen as Mark Clark is due up third in the 6th. And he's given up some hard hit balls throughout this game. So it just might be that if they get something going, they'll go to the bench.
The 2-2. He got him swinging and the side retired. Once again, Steve, the Padres threatened but failed to score. Let's see if the Cubs can take advantage in the bottom of the 6th inning. It is a lovely day for baseball in Chicago. Hopefully the Cubs can turn this score around here in the bottom of inning number 6. Padres 2, Cubs nothing. Andy Ashby very tough. He's firing a three-hitter at us through 5 innings of work. In the lower third of the Cubs order, Ori, Service, and Clark are expected.
And for the moment, nobody up in the bullpen. So with Mark Clark bending but not breaking, apparently Jim Riggleman, at least to this point, thinks it's too early to go to that pen.
Again, the Cubs head west to play the Dodgers for 3. We're with you again Saturday on WGN. That'll also be a milestone day for Cal Ripken Jr. First, the pitch to Ori. You know about his consecutive games played streak. Ripken on Saturday, this is amazing, will make his 2,500th consecutive start.
That is astounding.
Ori toward the hole. Caminiti dives. Can he throw him out? Not in time. Cianfrocco bobbled it.
No control on that pickup, and that's what Jim Quick was looking for. So Cianfrocco, who is not the glove man Wally Joyner is, picked the low throw, but he had no control of the ball. And Jim Quick says that with no control, Ori's safe. And you see it right there. No control. Man safe, and it should be a base hit. Good effort by Caminiti. He bounces it. Cianfrocco traps it close to his body, and Jim Quick says nothing doing.
And it is a base hit. So Ori 2 for 2. Now, when Service was up last time, the Cubs did not put the runner into motion, and Service hit into a double play. We'll see if Jim Riggleman changes the strategy here in the home half of the 6th.
Well, he is going with Mark Clark because he's in the on-deck circle and nobody is loosening up in the bullpen.
Ashby sets and delivers. High pop-up. On the infield, who wants it? Cianfrocco. And Veras, and Cianfrocco must not have heard him. The big 6'5" first baseman makes the play, and Veras takes a long look at him.
Well, he says, I'm 6'5", you're 5'6". I'll just make this play short stuff. And he goes over and makes it. Usually a first baseman will give way to the second baseman when he makes the call, but you know, the rumors were that the Rolling Stones were going to come up instead.
Even better.
We got Dan Roan with those wax lips.
Even better. We got Roan Stone in the booth. That's awesome.
Instead of the Rolling Stones.
Clark tries to bunt, fouls it away. How you doing, Dan? There he is.
Well, he's ready to go. He's got the Bulls shirt on, the sunglasses. Nothing like a day at Wrigley Field, is it?
What a leisurely life he leads.
I know.
But Dan is the man. It's always good to see you here. Family doing well?
Everybody's doing great. Just off the golf course this morning, Stoney.
Wish I could say the same.
I'm working on you.
Clark lays down a bunt, and it's a good one. Only one play. It's to first.
Caminiti came in and he slipped, and right now he's walking kind of gingerly as he hobbled back toward third. Now he came in on that bunt and he fell down on the infield grass. Kind of hobbled back to third, but he appears okay, and we'll watch it again. Ashby has only one play. Good bunt by Clark. You see Caminiti sprawled in the left-hand portion of your screen, but he's able to get back.
Yeah, he needs to call the Bears and get some of those long football cleats for this infield grass at Wrigley Field.
I'll let his toenails grow.
Yeah, he pulled them out already. Here's Brown. Base hit means a run, but he got under that pitch and skies it into right center. Easy play there for Finley. He's got it, and the Cubs are out in the 6th. On we go to the 7th. 2-0 Padres.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Pepsi. Generation Next.
Beautiful day for baseball. Lower portion of the Padre order due up in the 7th. Gomez, Ashby, and Kilvio Veras. Mark Clark's hanging in there. He's battling. He gave up 2 runs in the 2nd, but since then he has given up 4 scratch hits to the Padres. They haven't done anything with them. Jeff Blauser at short should gobble that up. He does. 1 out. Well, Steve, we've got Dan Roan in the booth. You know, it is the 7th inning.
I asked him. He said there's plenty of room, but he turned us down flat.
Was that a musical reference, as in a C flat? If so, that would be a very sharp statement, which is also a musical statement. Here's Ashby. 1 out, bases empty. He has done a great job on the mound. And now skies it into shallow right center field. Brown calls everybody off. And very quickly 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning.
Well, Mark Clark has certainly done his job. He's taken this game into the 7th. He'll undoubtedly get through the 7th. And he's limited this very powerful Padre team to just 2 runs. But unfortunately, Andy Ashby has been just a little bit tougher. And the Cub offense still with 3 shots at him.
2 outs, top of the order now. Here's Kilvio Veras. He's flied to center twice and he's doubled once. And Clark misses low. You've said a couple of times in this series about sinker ballers. They get stronger as they get weaker.
Stronger as the game moves along.
A hot shot into left center field by Veras. He's 2 out of 4.
Well, now I think you're going to see Veras go, and if you're a number 2 hitter, in this case Steve Finley, you've got to take a couple of pitches. And if you're Jim Riggleman, you might want to use a pitch out on the first pitch. Clark historically has been fairly easy to run on, and the Padres do have a stolen base today in their 1 attempt. It was Archie Cianfrocco in the 6th. So let's see if Veras, who is their 1 base stealing threat, is off to the races. He's 4 for 4.
And Finley, the batter, 0 for 3, will try to prolong the inning and give Tony Gwynn a chance to give the Padres a little insurance. San Diego has left 4 men on base in the last 4 innings. So they've had chances to extend this lead but haven't been able to cash in. And the Cubs think Veras will be running, and they're trying to keep him close.
Yeah, one of the great base runners in the history of this game at first base, and Coach Davey Lopes. Stolen bases, the Padres not real aggressive, as you can see.
Finley misses that pitch. 0-1. Well, he looks like he's swinging at everything.
Well, also as a number 2 hitter ahead of a base stealer, you've got to give an opportunity to steal his way into a situation where you can score him with a base hit. But Finley right now is struggling, and you're right, he's expanded that strike zone from nose to toes.
Last year, of course, spent much of the year as the number 3 hitter for this Padre team, or at least a lot of it, and had big power numbers, big offensive year for Finley. But now in the number 2 spot, he's slumping around the 200 mark.
1995, Veras led this league in stolen bases with 56 for the Florida Marlins.
Ripped into right field. That's going to drop in front of Sammy. Veras streaks around second. He's on his way to third. He'll make it without a throw. First and third, 2 outs, and now Tony Gwynn a chance to provide the insurance.
Well, now you want to take a trip to the mound and try to give that bullpen a chance to get loose. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen as Amari Telemaco starts to loosen up, but he hasn't had any time. So we see Phil Regan walking to the mound as Finley gets one out over the plate and drives it into right field, and Veras, with no thought of stopping at second, slides into third. Runners at the corners for the world's best hitter in Tony Gwynn.
So there's Amari. He'll loosen up. Mark Clark still battling here in the top of the 7th inning. 2 on, 2 outs. He's thrown 95 pitches unofficially by my count so far in the game. So the meeting breaks up, and we'll remind you, here's your chance to see the Cubs clubhouse, the WGN TV press box, go on the field, in the dugout, and much, much more as the Cubs present exclusive tours of Wrigley Field. Enjoy a walk through the history of this grand old ballpark. Tickets are only a $10 donation to Cubs Care, and tours are available throughout the summer. For more information on Wrigley Field tours, please call 312-831-CUBS. Gwynn 0 for 3, as you saw, and that's what scares you most. He is overdue for a hit, and he takes a strike. 0-1.
Well, he's hit the ball very hard twice. Long fly out in the 3rd inning, a line drive in the 6th.
That evens the count, a ball and a strike.
There was a time when Finley ran a lot, but you wouldn't expect him to go here. You want to keep that hole on the right side open for Tony Gwynn. Most inviting if he can pull it that way.
Sinker misses downstairs. 2-1.
Tony getting a little gray in that beard, pushing 39 years of age. With runners in scoring position, Tony Gwynn has been tougher than anybody.
Off the end of his bat foul. They sent Finley that time, and Tony pops it into foul ground. 2-2. This guy could probably hit when he's 49, when he's 59.
Well, he does have one strikeout this year, and it was Rod Beck. So at least we know he's human. And Scott Service now out to talk with Mark Clark, who could very well be pitching for his existence in this game. Caminiti has hit him awfully hard. He's in the on-deck circle. And there is the man who got Tony Gwynn, like the guy who shot Liberty Valance. There's only one of them.
The 2-2. Ripped foul past first.
Boy, that bullpen's getting a workout for the Padres today.
And we don't want to get them in the game either, because they've been terrific.
Well, Gwynn is really slumping. He's fanned 1 per every 80 at bats.
What a joy it must be to watch him play every day.
And Mark Grace moved off the bag as if to convince Finley that he was going to actually play him back of him. And then they went to the fake the third, throw to first move,
which never works. 2-2. Tony jackknifed out of the way there. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, now Mark Grace should get well in back of Finley. Let him take as much as he wants. You get a better angle on the ground ball if you get behind him. Finley's going to be going anyway, and Gwynn is going to make contact.
There goes Finley. 3-2 pitch, swung on, popped up down the left field line. Long run Kevin Ory, but he'll run out of room. This guy spoils more good 2-strike pitches than anybody I've ever seen. And it's almost, when it comes down to a test of wills, you get the impression that sometimes the pitcher says, the heck with it, here's your hit. But Clark can't do it in this situation, for he'll exit the game.
Well, Tony Gwynn has only walked 5 times this year in now 75 at bats, so he does swing the bat. He doesn't take many walks.
Again, the 3-2, and it hit him right on the right knee, and Gwynn is down. Right on the knee. And the Padres have the bases loaded, and Gwynn hobbles down to first, and you hope that's nothing serious.
Well, he's had some bad knees. And I know that Kevin Towers, Larry Lucchino, everybody associated with this Padre ball club right now is holding their breath that Tony is okay. Because with Tony Gwynn is the hopes and dreams of this Padre team. And we'll go audio up. You could hear the clean shot from up here, and Tony says he's okay. Well, that's something that will stiffen up as the game moves along. So for the moment, he's all right.
And they've already lost Wally Joyner to a strained muscle in his side, so could be a very costly game for San Diego today. So the base is loaded with 2 outs, 2 singles, a hit batsman, and now Caminiti against Clark here.
And that was the first time Tony has been hit all year.
So here's your ball game, perhaps. It's 2-0 at the moment. Caminiti with a home run earlier. He takes low. Let's pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
4 grand slams to Caminiti's total. And Clark falls behind 2-0.
Well, unfortunately, now you have to come right at him. He's hit the ball very hard twice. And the one thing you didn't want to do was fall behind.
Three balls, no strikes.
Well, this guy probably has the 3-0 green light. So if you're thinking about just laying one in, this would be the wrong hitter to do it to.
Bases full of Padres. Now the 3-0. Ball 4 on 4 straight. Caminiti has his second RBI. Clark walks in a run. It's now 3-0.
I would think that that might be it for Mark Clark. And Jim Riggleman letting him go. Even though the 2 men he's walked have come in the last 2 innings and he hit Gwynn, you're still in this ball game if you can retire Cianfrocco.
Bad news here. Bad news for the Cubs in Milwaukee. Marquise Grissom just hit a solo home run against Nomo, and the Brewers lead the Dodgers 2-1 now. Cianfrocco, weak ground ball toward third. Ori up, throws to second in time, and the gamble pays off. But the Padres score a run with a bases loaded walk with 2 outs in the 7th. We go to the 7th inning stretch. Padres 3, Cubs nothing. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 3-0 Padres. The 2, 3, 4 spots due up for the Cubs against Andy Ashby, who has been as good as advertised.
The Cubs are going to get it done. This should be the inning. 3rd time through the order against Ashby.
And Morandini takes a quick strike. Mickey extended his hit streak to 7 games back in the 4th inning, so he's 1 for 2. Two balls and a strike. The Cubs dropped a 3-2 14-inning game yesterday. Today they're being shut out on 4 hits. And the last thing Ashby wants to do is walk the leadoff man with the dangerous heart of the Cubs order due up. I've got Ashby for 68 pitches into the 7th inning. And a late strike call. Morandini tossed the bat away.
Well, that will not endear him to Kerwin Danley. So I would say if this is close, he'd best be swinging. Mickey thought it was low and in. This ball actually tailed back and got a good piece of the plate.
Now the payoff pitch. That time he makes sure it is ball 4. He did not swing. So the leadoff walk. That's the first walk of the game issued by Andy Ashby.
Pretty impressive line so far with just 75 pitches. But Sammy has always hit the ball well against Ashby. Hit it real hard last time, grounded into a fine double play started by Caminiti, but he hit the ball right on the nose.
Also has a base hit. That is first time up. And then was thrown out trying to steal second. 3-0. Padres the lead. The pitch to Sammy is low and away.
This is the first sign that perhaps Ashby is starting to tire. Fell behind to Morandini. Now he's missed to Sosa, but no activity in the bullpen yet.
I'd love to see Sammy try to hit the ball to right, especially considering Tony Gwynn may not be 100% out there in right field. The 1-0. A bullet for a fastball. Sosa, Grace, Rodriguez, and hopefully many more to follow here in the home half of the 7th inning. Morandini, a good lead from first. What a cut he had. One and two. Let's see if Ashby comes letter high again.
He stayed inside. I would think they would go outside with a slider here to Sosa, but we'll have to see where Hernandez sets up.
He missed with it.
Didn't miss by much. Sammy laid off. Oh, Hernandez is a veteran. I go back out with the same pitch. Maybe get a little closer this time.
That's what he sets up for. Sammy back where it came from, off the pitcher's back pocket. Morandini round second, takes the turn there and stops. Another infield hit for Sosa. Now we're cooking. 2 on, nobody out.
Sammy did a nice job, as he has done so often against Andy Ashby. He took a slider away, took it right back up the middle, and it bounded off Ashby. As we'll take a look. This one got too much of the plate. Ashby can't do anything with it, and that sets the bullpen to work. Good heads-up play by Gomez. He got to the ball quickly, and he kept Morandini at second base because Mickey had designs on third, but didn't want to risk it. And the bullpen up and going, and it's Dan Maselli.
Mark has yet to get the ball out of the infield today. He's grounded to second. He's grounded to first. Come on, Mark, fill a gap here in the 7th. He pulls that one foul. Mark is 0 for 8 in the series. He's had pretty good luck against Andy Ashby, a 300 hitter coming into today's play, including a home run.
Well, a good time to break out of it, and Mark could use a big bat.
The 0-1 pitch. Here it is. Swung on high, fly ball lazily hit toward left. Vaughn slowing near the wall, has room. There's out number 1. That's a big out for Ashby.
Here comes Dave Stewart. Now in a situation with a tying run up and the most prolific early season home run hitter for the Cubs. Dave Stewart out to talk with Ashby about just how they want to work Rodriguez. He's handled him well so far, but one swing of the bat gets you a tie game.
This is our first game of the series on WGN, and we talked earlier about the role Dave Stewart's played in helping to mold this pitching staff. You had a guy like Kevin Brown, that's certainly going to help, but what has Dave Stewart brought, in your opinion, to this Padre ball club?
Well, everybody talks about Dave Stewart from the old school, and the fact is that he just retired a short time ago, but an old school philosophy, which is don't talk to the opposing players. He doesn't want any of his pitchers talking to the opposing players, but he talks to his pitchers consistently about being aggressive, especially early in the count. He doesn't want any of them nibbling at the corners where you have to make a lot of 2-0, 3-1 pitches. That's not anything novel, but he stresses it, and so far it's paid dividends for the pitching staff.
Henry Rodriguez, the hitter. 2 on, 1 out. First pitch swinging, line drive left field, but it hung up for Vaughn. He hit it squarely, but out to left. And what looked like a very promising 7th inning now could be a very frustrating one.
Well, Henry did a nice job. This is a sinker low and away, and he knows he hits it well, but unfortunately it slices right at Greg Vaughn, and all you can do is hit it hard and hope you find a hole somewhere, and at that time Henry didn't.
So Blauser will try two here. Jeff 0 for 2. A base hit means a run. It's 3-0 Padres. Swing and a miss.
Well, I asked Jeff what he expected from Ashby, and he said he works you a lot like Hamilton, only he throws a little harder right now. He says, I'm going to see that sinker inside. I'm going to see sliders away. And he said he didn't realize that he added a forkball till the meeting before the game.
That just missed. It's 1-1. One final in. The Pirates behind Francisco Cordova shut out the Giants 7-0. A 5-hitter for Cordova today. Sean Estes took the loss for San Francisco.
Now you're hoping that Ashby throws it inside to Blauser. Maybe he can drive it through the left side.
The 1-1. 1-2.
He's keeping that fastball up, and that goes away from his strength. His strength is sinkers down, but he knows that the weakness of Blauser is a fastball up, and that's what he's gone at him with today.
And I'll bet as a hitter, you see that pitch up, you're thinking he's made a mistake. Tough to lay off.
Well, when the velocities are 92, 93, and you keep it upstairs, pretty hard to get around on. And I think he's going in again.
1-2. 2 on, 2 outs the pitch. It's even now. Kevin Ory waits on deck. He's had 2 hits today.
Maybe he'll make a mistake with one of those high heaters.
A long ball would tie it for the Cubs. 2-2 the count. Here it is. Got him swinging. What a job by Ashby. 2 on, nobody out. He gets 2 fly balls to left, and then he strikes out Blauser on a nasty pitch on the outside edge of the plate. On to the 8th we go. It's 3-0 Padres. Steve, a double switch for the Cubs as we move on to the 8th. Jose Hernandez takes over for Jeff Blauser at shortstop. And then Amore Telemaco comes on to pitch for the Cubs.
Well, Amore was the tough luck loser in the 14th inning yesterday, but by and large he's done a nice job on for the 9th time. 3.18 ERA. And the reason why you want Hernandez in the lineup is he has hit Ashby awfully hard, and he's due up 3rd in the 8th.
6 for 10 his lifetime numbers, in fact. And he will hit 3rd for the Cubs as Greg Vaughn leads things off here in the 8th. Vaughn 1 for 2 with a walk. He had a base hit back in the Padre 4th. San Diego 3, the Cubs nothing.
So for Clark, give him 7 innings of 3-run baseball. He gave up 9 hits, a couple of walks, and a strikeout. Didn't have great stuff today, but he made some pretty good pitches, and he kept the Cubs in the game, but the offense has been non-existent.
Bouncing ball to short. Jose tested early. Why does that always happen? The guy checks in. The ball's a magnet. And he makes the play. 1 out here in the 8th. Steve, let's see who's cleaning up in baseball. Brought to you by Hoover. Bullpens were busy yesterday, weren't they?
They were that, and the Giants right at the top of the list, along with the Dodgers, who we will see tomorrow night. Pittsburgh and the Cubs check in at the number 4 spot. National League average, a whopping 4-point ERA out of that pen.
That has been a strength, no question about it, as Carlos Hernandez takes low. Speaking of strength, Mike Kelly of Tampa Bay has just hit a 2-run homer. The Devil Rays leading Texas 6-0 in the 5th. Hernandez pops that ball up. Who wants it? It'll be Mark Grace in foul ground. Plenty of room, and he puts that away. 2 up, 2 down, and the shortstop Chris Gomez will bat now. Gomez has been a pest. 2 doubles, 1 RBI. He's also grounded to short. He now has 8 doubles on the year. So Gomez will dig in. Milwaukee's still leading the Dodgers 2-1. They bat at the bottom of the 8th inning up at County Stadium. Later tonight, Colorado's at Florida. The Cardinals in Montreal. Philly hosts Cincinnati. Arizona's in Atlanta, and the Mets entertain Houston. will be chartering toward Los Angeles to open up a 3-game set against the Dodgers tomorrow night. Then San Diego for 2, then back home to take on the Cardinals. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the Padres shortstop. Strike 3 called. Nasty pitch on the outside corner. So Telemaco does his job. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th. To the bottom half we go. Ori, Service, and Hernandez in a 3-0 Padre game. James Mouton in right for Tony Gwynn. You hope that knee isn't bothering him after getting hit by the Mark Clark pitch. Mouton, a very speedy performer. And he'll stand in there as Ori, Service, and Jose Hernandez try to get something done against Mr. Ashby, who's been very tough. He shut us down on 5 hits today. And tries to run his record to 3-1. And 4-2 lifetime against the Cubs. Kevin Ori's had a couple of hits today, and he missed that one, 0-1.
It's good to see Kevin start to break out of it. The Cubs need his bat, the bottom third of the order. And also he hits in the number 5 spot usually against left-handers, so they'd like to see him get it going.
A bullet right through there. Tell you what, this is one of those days where if you don't beat the Padres, you do have to tip your cap to Andy Ashby. He's pitched a superb ball game. That didn't miss by much either.
Well, the young man out of Kansas City just seems to be getting better and better.
High pop behind first. Mouton doesn't see it. Now he comes on, still coming, makes the play.
He lost that ball, and right field, a tough sun field, and Mouton was able to flip down the glasses and finally locate it with a little help from Veras, who told him it was heading toward the line. And now he talks with Veras. Thanks for the help. And now he says, I've got it, and he does. And that's exactly what he's looking at, making visibility tough. And we've always said, when you get to this time of day, this is one of the toughest right fields in all of baseball.
1 out in the 8th. Scott Service. The Cubs wondering where the offense went.
Bruce Bochy once coached under Jim Riggleman and now has the club going pretty good.
They're on their way perhaps to 16 wins and 20 tries. I don't think they'll keep up an 80 win percentage all summer long, though. Bouncing ball to short. Easy hop, easy throw. 2 up, 2 down in the 8th. And now here's Jose Hernandez. Jose 6 for 10 lifetime against Ashby. And Steve, let's take a look at today's Ameritech play that makes a difference.
Well, take a look at Ken Caminiti. He smothers this one. The quick throw to Veras. It turns into a double play with a quick pivot. And that helps Ashby get out of the inning. And that is your Ameritech playbook.
2 outs, nobody aboard in the Cubs 8th. And a quick strike to Jose. He's hitting just .111 on the campaign.
Well, he can go the distance, as we see right there. And he's bidding to do it again.
A ball and a strike. Base hit up the middle.
Well, when you can hit a guy and it doesn't matter how you're going or how he's going, you just hit him. And when you're hitting 600, if you're Jose Hernandez, you just step up there and whack one into center.
1 on, 2 outs. And now Brant Brown. He's hit the ball hard 3 times and has nothing to show for it. A long ball here would cut the lead to 1. A much needed hit for Jose. He's got a good lead over at first. Brown, base hit right side. Hernandez rounds second. He'll take the turn. Mouton up. His throw is high. Taking second. Brown safe.
Well, that's a terrible play by James Mouton. All you got to do is get the ball into second base and keep Brown at first by throwing through. You allow Brown as the trailer to go to second. Now a base hit scores 2. And this is just a very thoughtless play on the part of Mouton. Can't get him at third, no chance, and good heads-up base running by Brant Brown. As soon as he saw the angle of the throw, meaning it couldn't be cut off, he took off and went to second. If this throw is lower with a chance to be cut off, then you can't risk going to second base. So with runners at second and third, the Cubs have got a chance, and it sends the bullpen busy once again. And a veteran team doesn't make many mistakes, but that was one.
Now, if you're Andy Ashby and Dave Stewart's talking to you, what are you hearing him say right here?
Well, regardless of the resolution of the at-bat of Morandini, you can't walk him because Sosa would be the go-ahead run. So regardless of what you do with Mickey Morandini, you have to go right at him. And you don't want to get behind.
Good speed on the base pass. A hit means 2 runs. Morandini 1 for 2 with a single and a walk today. 3-0 Padres lead, but the Cubs threatening late again. Good stop by Hernandez. Man, oh man. Cat-like quick to his right.
Hernandez has always been terrific behind the plate, and that showed good mobility. And Bruce Bochy, a former major league catcher himself, can appreciate that effort.
Hernandez, you see, with the hockey style catcher's mask. 1 ball, no strikes. Sosa waiting next. The pitch. Check swing, didn't matter.
Well, if Mickey can come through, you'd have to think that they would go to the bullpen because of the luck that Ashby has had with Sosa. And with 2 outs, Mickey Morandini has come through all year.
1 ball, 1 strike. Took a shot at left. Not only has Morandini done it, this entire Cub team, an amazing 41% of all their runs have come with 2 outs. 41 of 100. You'll take that percentage, won't you?
Well, they would take 2 more right here and make this truly a ball game as Dan Maselli continues to throw.
2 on, 2 out. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. He stays alive.
Now, the injuries are Tony Gwynn being banged up and Wally Joyner leaving the game makes them just a little bit less defensively with Cianfrocco and Mouton on the right side.
Yeah, I don't think Tony Gwynn airmails that throw toward third, certainly, but we'll see if the Cubs can make him pay for it. 1-2. Popped up, but it's going to reach the seats. And take a big bounce, and the fans battle for the souvenir. A good battle here with Morandini and Ashby in the 8th. The Cubs trying to come back from 3-0 down in their final 2 at-bats. The Padre pen is ready. If Morandini reaches, Ashby will get the hook, you would think. Let's hope it happens with the 1-2 now. He's making him work.
You would think that Ashby would try to crowd him with the slider. He's gone away a couple of times, only to see Mickey spoil him. And Ashby with a good hard slider in. I'm thinking he's going in under the hands.
Let's see what Hernandez thinks. 1-2. Bouncing ball towards second, but Veras will spoil the party. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We go to the 9th. It's 3-0 Padres. We go to the top of the 9th inning. 3-0. Padres have the lead. Mark Sweeney will conclude the afternoon for Andy Ashby. Steven, Padre right-hander was absolutely brilliant.
Well, he gave up 7 hits, walked just 1, fanned 4, and held the Cubs at bay.
Mark Sweeney swings the first pitch, sends a drive deep toward left. Back goes Henry to the track, to the wall, and he hits an opposite field home run off Amaury Telemaco, and it's 4-0 San Diego.
First ball fastball, and that's what Sweeney looks for as a lifetime pinch hitter. You go up there looking first ball fastball. That's exactly what he got and took it out opposite way. That is his first career pinch hit home run, and it comes at a pretty good time for the Padres. Gives them an insurance run, the 3rd pinch hit home run. Check that. But a home run nonetheless, and they've thrown it back, so Henry doesn't want to go too far to his left because there's a baseball there.
So now to the top of the order in Kilvio Veras, and now Brant Brown tries to get Henry's attention to say, hey, that defective baseball's in your way. The fans threw it back, and Henry will throw it out. Ben Van Ryn, the left-hander, starts to loosen up. Should Amaury have any further difficulties here in the 9th? 4-0. Padres have the lead. A high chop to Mickey at second, and there's out number 1. Looking to the bottom half of the 9th, Sosa, Grace, Rodriguez are expected. Then a pinch hitter for Amaury Telemaco. Milwaukee has beaten the Dodgers 2-1. Mercedes beats Nomo. Doug Jones the save. And that pitch from Finley popped up a mile high. That'll scatter the Padre bullpen. Morandini in fair ground makes the catch. One of the Padre pitchers fired a warm-up toss. The catcher got out of the way because the man guarding him said, here they come. And the pitch sailed all the way to the San Diego dugout. But no harm done. 1 in, 2 outs for the right fielder James Mouton. A bunt try. Telemaco kicks it, drops it, can't make a play. Mouton with a bunt single.
Give him a base hit on a ball that could have been fielded by Amaury. So the inning stays alive, and the big problem with that is now you have to face Ken Caminiti, who's already driven in 2. Watch it again. It's not a particularly good bunt. And not a particularly good play.
So runner at first, 2 outs, and here's Caminiti. A check swing, but he went too far. It's 0-1. I'd pay to watch this guy play every day.
Well, he gives you everything he's got on a daily basis. And he certainly added a lot to this team after coming over from Houston.
Yeah, they don't make trades in San Diego unless they're blockbusters, do they? That was a huge trade. 0-2.
Well, they made a huge trade with Toronto, sending Robbie Alomar, Joe Carter up there, getting Tony Fernandez and Fred McGriff back.
And to get Caminiti, they got Steve Finley, Andujar Cedeno, Roberto Perugini, Brian Williams, and left-handed pitcher Sean Fesh. For Derek Bell, Phil Plantier, Ricky Gutierrez, Craig Shipley, Pedro Martinez, Doug Brocale. That was in December of 1994.
It's quite a deal. And Bell is still doing a pretty good job for Houston.
The Killer Bees, they'll be here when we get back from the road trip too. 1-2. It's 2-2.
Ken Caminiti, a couple of years removed from the National League MVP, and still very productive. 20 runs batted in.
Runner goes. The pitch cut on, ripped into the right field corner and into the sun bleached fans, and we'll do it again on the 2-2. Cubs fans, plenty of good seats still available for games throughout the '98 campaign. And as you know, Wrigley Field, a beautiful place to spend the summer. So mark your calendars now for tickets. You can pick them up at the Wrigley Field box office, Ticketmaster ticket centers, or by calling 312-831-Cubs. Plenty of tickets available for that Cardinal series, except for Daisy the Cow Beanie Baby Day. The 2-2 is in the dirt. Three balls, two strikes to Ken Caminiti. Fouled away off Service's glove. Amore took something off that pitch. If he leaves it up there again, the fans in the right field bleachers might want to have their gloves ready, because this guy can hit him a long, long way. Again, the 3-2. Swung on, belted straightaway center field. Brown back as far as he can go. Leaps up. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. And he takes the punishment, slamming into the center field wall. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Cubs trailing by 4, and maybe the great defensive play by Brant Brown will provide a ninth inning spark, Steve.
From the Southwest Plainview camera, take a look at just an outstanding effort by Brant Brown. With no regard for life or limb, he goes back to the wall, leaps up, and at the last instant he puts it away. And that is some play. And there is the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera high atop Wrigley Field. The defensive gem of the day for Brant Brown. But the Cubs offense has been silent, and they're going to have to do it against Dan Maselli, who comes on in relief of Andy Ashby, who gave him 8 strong innings. And Maselli comes into this one 2-0, 1.88 ERA, on for the 11th time, and there are the numbers.
He struck out Sammy in his 2 innings of work in the 14-inning thriller yesterday. 4-0. Padres have the lead. Sosa, Grace, and Henry Rodriguez in the 9th. And Maselli, a blazing fastball for a strike. Their bullpen for San Diego has been unhittable. A microscopic 0.86 ERA the last 4 games. And when you combine that with their great starting pitching, you can see how tough it is to come by runs.
I always liked Maselli when he was with Pittsburgh. He always had very good stuff. Last year he found himself with Detroit, a high ERA of 5.01, but everybody did for the Tigers last year.
That ball corked into straightaway center. Back to the wall, and Sammy makes it 4-1. A 3-hit day for Sosa today, and a 3-hit day yesterday.
4th home run, RBI number 13. And Sammy got it up a little higher than Caminiti, and he cuts the lead to 3. And now the bullpen up and going, and it's Trevor Hoffman this time. Now it is a save situation.
Nobody out, 1 in for Mark Grace now, and he takes high. That ball was crushed.
4 and 13, the power numbers for Sammy.
Right through there to Grace, who has yet to homer and has 8 batted in.
Not much doubt about this. Looked like a split finger fastball out over the plate, and Finley just looks up.
High to Grace, 2-1.
How far did it fly for Southwest Airlines? 409 happy feet.
Base hit left field. The tying run's coming on deck now.
Well, I got to believe that the tying run on deck means that Trevor Hoffman's coming into this ball game, and Carlos Hernandez is going to stand on that mound until Trevor has had enough tosses. Now it is a save situation. Well, let's see how long Kerwin Danley lets Hernandez stand on the mound.
Henry lifetime 0 for 3 against Maselli. Hoffman continues to work, and here comes Bruce Bochy out of the pen. A long look down at the bullpen. Still looking down there, and now he is going to make the call. So Maselli greeted very rudely. A solo homer by Sosa. Grace with a base hit. The tying run comes to the on-deck circle. It's a 4-1 game, but Trevor Hoffman standing in the way. It's 4-1. Runner at first. Still nobody out in the Cubs' ninth. Dan Maselli's given up a homer and a single now. Henry Rodriguez will stride to the batter's box, but there is the big presence of Trevor Hoffman.
Well, we talked about buying 2 innings yesterday in the extra inning game with Trevor Hoffman. So perhaps today he might not be quite as sharp, because when he is sharp, Trevor Hoffman is awfully tough. 2-0, 2-point ERA, on for the 9th time. 9 innings, 8 strikeouts, but 4 walks. He has yet to allow a home run. And unlike many of the closers, he's got a good but not great fastball. But he has an exceptional straight change. And it's going to be Henry Rodriguez and Lance Johnson in the on-deck circle. He'll come on to pinch hit.
Henry, in case you wondered, lifetime against Hoffman, 2 for 6 with a home run, including yesterday's ball game, won by the Padres in 14 innings. Lance Johnson 0 for 6 against Hoffman. 1 on, nobody out for Henry. And that nips the outside corner. It's 0-1. This guy gets it up there in good shape, and as you know, he's got the outstanding changeup. Oh, Henry missed that ball by a foot. And there it was, the straight change.
He pitched the 11th and 12th yesterday. And one of his strikeout victims, Henry Rodriguez, on the aforementioned straight change.
Another one. Ground ball to the right side. Sinfracco to second one. Relay to first. Not in time. It pops away.
We talked about the toughest of all double plays, the 3-6-1, because the pitcher has to go to the bag, locate it, and look for the throw at the same time. So Gracie trying to break it up. Good hard slide at second. The throw in the dirt. Hoffman cannot corral it. So the inning stays alive for Lance Johnson, pinch hitting for Telemaco.
Johnson lifetime 0 for 6 against Hoffman. Lance got his first start since April the 6th yesterday. Had a hit, walked once, scored a run. Cubs want to get a couple aboard and have somebody pop one here in the 9th. Sammy's already hit one 400 feet plus to make it a 4-1 game. That's right down the middle. Rodriguez, your runner at first. The change again fouls it away. That's almost not fair.
Well, you see how tough it is to stay back. You've got a guy with a fastball that's 91, maybe occasionally can get up to 92, but not all that often. Then he throws you a changeup that looks exactly from release point and arm speed the same as his fastball, and you can't keep your hands back.
The 1-2. Skips up there. Lance laid off. Hoffman seeking his 6th save. Ashby his 3rd win in 4 decisions. Mark Clark could fall to 2-2.
The guy who did a nice job yesterday waiting back was Mickey Morandini, who waited back for the changeup and took it into center field. So you have to have a lot of patience to hit Hoffman.
Another changeup. That ball rifled into right. Coming on and making the play is Mouton, and he fires another crazy throw all the way to the plate.
Well, he wanted to see if Hernandez was paying attention.
What's he doing out there?
He wants to show you he's got a strong arm. Not necessarily an accurate arm, but a strong arm.
So 1 on, 2 outs now, and Kevin Orie, the Cubs' final hope today. Kevin's 2 for 3, snapping an 0 for 12 slump.
Here it comes. Carlos, you paying attention? Are you backing up? And the answer was yes. Hernandez makes the play.
Well, he forgot Sinfranco's not 6'8", he's only 6'5" at first base. He was the cutoff man, and he missed him by about 10 feet. Here's Kevin. Swung late. Kevin looking change, got the fastball instead. 0-1.
Padres right up there trying to record their 8th, which would tie them with the Reds and the Cards.
And Hoffman would get his 6th of those 8. There's the change, and he missed it. 0-2.
Jeff Shaw off to a great start with Cincinnati. Once again, a dominant closer. And the former Reds closer, Jeff Brantley, along with Kent Bottenfield, doing the job for St. Louis.
No balls, 2 strikes. Scott Service waiting on deck. Henry leads from first. 4-1 Padres in the bottom of the 9th. He got him swinging. And that's your ball game. San Diego wins it 4-1 the final. They take the series 2 out of 3 here in Chicago. And the Padres go to 16-4 on the year. The Cubs drop to 12-9. Ashby beats Clark. Hoffman the save. 4-1 your final. We'll have totals, highlights, and more right after this. Here's a look at today's Budweiser play of the game. On this day, the Padres really only needed 1 run. They got it leading off the 2nd inning. Ken Caminiti powers that Mark Clark pitch. His 7th home run, his 19th RBI of the season. That gave San Diego a 1-0 lead. Gomez doubled home a second. That made it 2-0 Padres, and they go on to win this game 4-1 at Wrigley Field. There are your totals. Padres 4 runs, 11 hits, no errors. For the Cubs, 1 run, 9 hits, no errors. Andy Ashby, tip your cap, was tremendous today. Mark Clark, the tough luck loser. Trevor Hoffman picks up his 6th save. Caminiti and Sosa both homered in today's ball game. Our next telecast on WGN will come your way Saturday night from Dodger Stadium. The Cubs will battle the storied Los Angeles Ball Club. Game time is 9 o'clock Central Time. Starting pitching matchup, a good one. Jeremy Gonzalez will take on Darren Dreifert. Unhappy totals today, 4-1 your final score for Steve Stone and our entire crew. This is Chip Carey. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. The 10th inning show is coming up next.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. Brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. Ameritech, in a world of technology, people make the difference. Pepsi, Generation Next. ComEd, providing customers with reliable electric service for over 100 years. And by Southwest Airlines, offering low fares and frequent flights. Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs.